Hey everyone.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us for our live Q&A. I'm Ben.
Heidi.
Yeah, and we're with Heidi and Ben. And just to give you a little bit about us, in case you haven't met us before, we are. Uh, when we became new parents, we thought that the best pictures that we were going to get were going to be on our fancy DSLR, our professional camera. But unfortunately, it was never in the room or where we needed it to be when we needed it to be there. And so we ended up taking what we had learned from photography and applying it with our phone cameras. And the pictures and the results that we got were just amazing. And ever since then, we realized that what we wanted to do was we wanted to share that skill set and that ability to make those great memories wherever you are with other parents. And so that's what we're here.
Yeah, we want everybody to have great pictures of their kids. It's not fair that some people can and some people can't. We think we should help bridge the gap, and it's just a skill set that anyone can learn. And we want to help everybody be able to have that skill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and you think about it, you have your professional pictures that you get once a year, but those professionals aren't going to be there for every birthday or every fun moment that you have at the park and the swing set and things like that.
Or cute little messy hair in the morning.
I know.
Yeah.
Or the tender moments, where you're cuddling and snuggling up in a movie by the fire, especially with it being winter. That might be a really cool thing that you do. And they're not going to be
Or
there.
the space heater if you don't have a fire.
Yeah, space heater too. Yeah. So, that's what we want to do, is empower you and to make sure that you can be proud of the pictures that you're getting in any moment, so that you always have that record of your family joys and your family memories.
Definitely.
So with that in mind, what we're going to talk about is an issue that I think all of us have run into, which is the preservation of your photos. Which, to go into that a little bit, what we're talking about is how do you easily access your photos and how do you make sure that they are backed up so that you never lose a copy of them. So we're going to talk about some of the ways that we do it and some of the basic concepts behind that. So if you have any questions about preservation, please pop them in the chat. We'll be there. We're super excited to talk to you, and let's go ahead and get started.
Go for it, dude.
So,
should I turn this light off? I feel like it's affecting the lighting. I'm going to stand up and turn the light off, folks.
Okay.
Keep going.
So what we're going to do is, I just got a new phone yesterday, right? Like, that's amazing. I'm super excited about it. And one of the issues that I think we have, I used to work for Apple, and a call that I got all the time was, my phone isn't backed up. I've lost my photos. I can't get my photos. I've lost my son's first birthday, or the time when my husband came back from the army and we met him at the airport. Like, these are really precious and tender moments that you want to save. And if your phone gets dropped or if it gets wet or anything like that, if they're not in another place, then you could lose those photos forever. And that's what we're going to talk about, is the preservation and making sure that they're not just in one place, that there's actually multiple copies of them, so that you can have access to them.
Our son actually pulled my phone into the bathtub the other day, and luckily it's one that's water resistant, but it's happened a couple times now, and I'm just waiting for that time where it doesn't make it. But so, as Ben's going to kind of discuss, I've got my phones on auto backup.
Yeah,
auto
backup.
Sorry, my picture's on auto backup.
Yeah, and so the concept of backing up, in case you don't know, is you're basically taking a copy of what you have and you are creating another copy of it. You're just backing up your data, you're backing up your pictures and making sure that they are in a safe place. So, for example, some ways that you might do that if you have an iPhone is you can plug it into iTunes and into a Mac or Windows PC with iTunes installed, and then back it up manually through iTunes. Another thing that you can do is iCloud backups. Those are wirelessly. You have to be on a Wi-Fi network in order to back those up, and you can run out of space. Sometimes they only give you 5 gigabytes, and that's not a lot when you have 64 gigabyte phones, 120 gigabyte phones. You may have to purchase additional storage if you want to go that route, but that's really easy and convenient. It does it while you're sleeping, and things like that. So you can always have those, what they're like, images of your phones, so that you can recall them and put everything back onto them again. Some ways that you can do that with an Android phone, a lot of carriers and a lot of manufacturers have manual backup systems. I know Google offers its own kind of way to restore things and back things up, but it may not be what you're looking for. I believe it doesn't back everything up completely like an iCloud backup does. But definitely look at your manufacturer. They usually have some way to back everything up. Google Drive is another great way to do that. I believe you can back up to Google Drive, and then I'm sure there's some sources and some apps that you can use on the Play Store for that as well. Yeah. So with the concept of backing up, and you know what's funny is I actually introduced this to you. Do you want to talk about Google Photos and just how much it's changed when you started using it?
So yeah, I wasn't sure what question you're asking. I was like, do I know the answer to this? Yes. So before my son was born, like we were tracking all the the pregnancy bump pictures and all his different imaging scans, and I was being really diligent about putting them on our Google Drive so they were safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I started taking pictures once he was born, and before I backed up my phone and deleted everything so I had more space, I made Ben figure out a way that would like auto back them up, because I was like, I'm not going to be good about uploading to all the folders and getting them together every month, and like it was too overwhelming to try to even think about like picking a few favorites, or like how do I delete one unless it's obviously bad. I want them, like, obviously there's a cutest one, but I want them all. And so he talked to me about Google Photos, and because I use an iPhone, I was a little more like, well, why would I do that? But it turns out I didn't have to pay for it like I did for the iCloud.
Mm-hmm.
At least, yeah. And so that was really appealing to me. And so we got them all on there. And it was so cool once I backed up my phone to my computer to be able to still have access over a data connection, either Wi-Fi or, your carrier service, to be able to still show friends or family, these are the pictures of him, 6 months ago. Look how much he's changed. Instead of being like, they're on my computer at home, I can't find them. Mm-hmm. And then it's hard to share.
Yeah.
And so it was like born of necessity, actually. Yeah, and I'm sure everybody knows about this. I'm like the last technology adopter, but I've showed a few people about it, and they're like, oh, this is cool. I can have them have access to them without them taking up space on my phone.
Yeah.
And you can share with friends and family through links. And so you're also not taking up data in your messaging.
Yeah, exactly.
It just makes it so much.
It's really convenient.
It's more friendly. Yeah. User friendly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually one of our favorite apps that we use together. And we do a really cool thing where, since we both take a lot of pictures and have a lot,
and if we weren't clear, it's the Google Photos app.
Yes.
If we didn't specifically say that.
Yeah, so it's the Google Photos app, and you can find it on the App Store and the Play Store. And they also have a web version that you can use at photos.google.com. So if you prefer to use a bigger screen to see more photos and be able to organize them into albums that way, you can do that on your computer.
And it's fun. They'll suggest, like, look at, like, this morning I got up and it said, like, check out this day from a year ago. And I was like, well, what were we doing a year ago? And I couldn't believe how much my son had grown, and I could remember some of the things we had done that day just based on the pictures we had taken. I could mark some new favorites, and they'll create little movies for you, and you can adjust them or put different pictures in. It's so easy.
Yeah, I mean, you could honestly spend an entire class just talking about Google Photos.
Yeah.
And we will.
But it's really user friendly. We highly recommend it. We're not endorsing. This isn't like an endorsed deal. It's just something that we love, and it has really helped our lives, and be able to still have access to our photos and to just share them with anyone.
Well, and that I think is the best part for me about Google Photos is that you mentioned this, where it takes all of your photos and it backs them up to the Google Cloud. And then from there, they give you free unlimited storage as long as you allow them to control like compression and things. So we'll talk about those more technical things much later. But the thing is, you can store photos up there for free indefinitely, as far as we know. And every time you do that, it asks you if you want to delete the photos off your phone, which if you say yes, you now suddenly got so much more free storage, and you still have all of your pictures from 7 years ago that you're able to access, and all of your albums and everything. It's just really convenient, and it's really, really nice. And so we highly recommend that for you. I think, and with Google Photos, one thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit more was this idea of multiple copies. If you have a backup on iTunes, and then you have a copy of your photos on Google Photos, and then you manually export them into your Photos app on your iMac or on your Windows phone, you've suddenly got 4 different copies of these photos. And so if anything were to happen to your computer, you can still go to Google Photos. If anything were to happen to Google Photos, you probably have much bigger issues to worry about. Either it's the apocalypse or something like that. or Google shuts it down. But, you know, if you can't access Google Photos, then there's, you know, there's bigger issues, but you have another copy. You have a copy on your computer, on your phone, or in iTunes and things like that. So when you start taking pictures, one thing that we want to really encourage you to do is to think about, how can I make multiple copies? What resources do I have? Do I have a Dropbox account? Do I have a Google Drive account?
You're talking about multiple copies for multiple backups.
Yeah,
right?
multiple
to just
backups.
Have a backup.
Yeah, exactly. You know, do you have external hard drives that you can put a copy of
Are
the
you
photo?
printing them out?
Yeah, are you printing them out?
Are you printing them out every so often in whatever way works for you, whether it's prints or a book or sharing them with printing them out and sending to grandma?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and being professional photographers, you know, we have these crazy backup systems for our professional clients because we don't want to have an issue where, you know, our SD card dies or, you know, our computer gets stolen. And so I know that, you know, you can get really extreme. Like some people have a copy that just goes off site and things like that. But you just keep it simple, you know, just think about what you have around the house, think about what you have access to, and think about maybe a little bit what kinds of subscriptions you're willing to pay for. Do you want more extra storage on Google or something like that? So yeah, just really start thinking about how do you take and get multiple copies of these photos so that they're preserved.
Yep, just play with the app and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for joining us. That is all we have today. If you liked what you heard, please go ahead and join our Pocketography by Heidi and Ben Facebook group.
Yeah.
We have additional tips, tricks, and things and stories that we tell that we don't tell on the lives or on our Facebook page. So you can find those in there, and we've got a lot of really great stuff in there for you. Another thing that we are starting to offer is our one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
So if you like our coaching, if you like what you're learning and you want to learn more on how to take even better photos, we offer one-on-one coaching. Just go ahead and check out our website.
So just private mentoring actually for you based on what you're trying to get out of it, what your specific needs are, and we'd love to help you out.
Yeah, exactly. So there are video calls, three video calls, and we work with you directly with what strengths you're having and what struggles you're having so that we can help you get better pictures right away. So if you're interested in that, just go ahead and keep a lookout for our website coming up here in a couple days, and we'll have everything ready for you to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great day, everyone.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.